But if you want to correct the frequency response, it's a great tool. Like, I would definitely consider one of these software options. Another day, another box. This right here is the Mini DSP UMIC 1 measurement microphone. I got it not necessarily because of the microphone. It has more to do with the software. Because this right here is optimized for, in my opinion, maybe probably the best solution for correcting the frequency response in your room. A friend of mine told me I should test out D-Rock Live. He told me it's a little more advanced is maybe the wrong word, but it gives you more possibilities. And if you have a clue, or at least a tiny bit about room acoustic, it can help you to fix the sweet spot in your studio even further. As you know, the studio right here is very dear to me. I worked a lot on building this. It is acoustically treated to the max. That's all that is possible. There's like 40 centimeter of absorption all around, plus the ceiling. The back wall has even 1.20 meters of absorption, and it sounds already really good. I have like plus minus 4 or 5 dB over the entire frequency spectrum, but this right here will tell me even more precise, and the software will help me to even smooth out the last kind of bumps, and I'm really looking forward by how much it can actually improve upon. Mic is in place. Next up, the software, setting it up, pretty straightforward. You just select how it's connected. This one right here goes through USB, which I love, because my other measurement microphone, I have to send it through a preamp, phantom power, through the interface, which colors the sound. This one right here, USB connection, it doesn't change anything about it. First up, speaker level gain setting. So far it's super easy, because this software is not only just like for studios and nerds, it's also for home listening, which are probably also nerds. I mean, someone that even knows about room acoustic and how much it can color the sound of your speaker and destroy everything is a nerd. Most people just buy speakers, put them somewhere, and that's it. Ambient noise, okay. Number of measurements, okay. Measure selected position. Okay, it did like left, right, left. It measures, let me actually show you. It measures multiple points. So we already did like the sweet spot, and now we're going to the side and we'll measure there, and there are like a couple more, and then it kind of knows what's going on right around there. Next position to the side and a little up. Yeah. Funny kind of side story. I once did one of these measurements back in Berlin when me and Vanessa were like still like a fresh couple, and she was at work, came back home and found me underneath of the table hiding. I was measuring and I didn't want me to affect the measurements, so every time I did the sweep, I went underneath of the table. I mean, try to explain that to someone. 9 measurements and you're done. 10 minutes max. It looks really good because everywhere where I placed the mic, the graph is more or less the same, but it's good that it's picking up multiple points, because just the sweet spot can be sometimes like maybe there's like just like a tiny spot where the frequency is different. Like just moving this mic by a bit can change a lot depending on the room. So next up is proceed to filter design. Speaker groups, adjusting target curve. Yeah, it's a little more advanced. You can like tweak it to your liking. Just for example, I could tell it to boost the very low frequencies, boost the top end and get more like a hi-fi kind of sound. Or you could make it like flat, 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 super flat. You have curtains left and right, so you can exclude the very top or the very low frequencies. For example, these speakers, they go low to, I think, 25, maybe due to the wall mount, maybe even 23, 22, maybe even 20. But I think I will tell it everything underneath 25 Hertz. Just leave it alone. Don't boost it, don't cut it, just leave it. Oh, and it also shows you the spread, like between the measurements. And what it does, what I think no other software can do is like the impulse response, correcting it, shifting it, aligning it. That will definitely make a huge difference. Yeah, because there's a delay between left and right. Let's name it really quick, flat. Export the filter. Okay, now I can close the measurement thing. I open up a plugin in Logic and it will do in there then the correction. So it makes sense to have it on your master chain as the very last plugin. And then testing it. Of course, I will need to move over here to the sweet spot to fully enjoy it. I just listened to a kick and it makes a difference. Like the kick sounds different without it, and with it, like you would reconsider choosing that kick if you hear it with the correction and without. A little like as if the phase was corrected somehow in the kick. Like it's a tiny change. Most people won't notice it, but for me sitting here every day making music, deciding how to shape my music, it's important to me. I wish I could like, there is no way to translate it. You have to like try it out for yourself. Again, this is not scientific at all. The difference isn't huge. For example, the gain left-right speaker, it didn't have to change because we measured everything. It's aligned perfectly. The left and right channel delay, it had to adjust by 0.1 millisecond. So it's very close, but I can hear it because everything is like more aligned and in check. And then the frequency response, it pulled up or down here and there 5 dB because, I mean, it's already acoustically treated right here. I think it's still worth it. Where this software really shines, or this type of software, the room correcting softwares, is in a room where you don't have the money for acoustic treatment, where you don't have the space for acoustic treatment. Right here, I'm very fortunate. This room is huge. Again, it's actually like a meter into each side wider and way longer. I could make it smaller. I think this size is more comfortable for one person to sit in than just sitting alone in a huge room. And I could bring in all of the absorption. If you're a bedroom producer, you have like a small project studio, maybe in a basement, and maybe it's squared and you can't really do a whole lot about acoustic treatment, this can help. But also please don't think it replaces acoustic treatment entirely. It's a help to save some space and save some money in acoustic treatment to make it as flat as possible, but it can't correct the decay time, like the reverb. If you clap into your hand, the reverb will stay the same, and that's usually the bigger problem than just the frequency response. But if you want to correct the frequency response, it's a great tool. Like, I would definitely consider one of these software options. They're fairly cheap if you compare it to putting a whole lot of money towards acoustic treatment, and there's a lot you can do wrong. Best is obviously if you do both. So if you're interested to check it out, I'll link it down below, and I'll keep you updated in the coming days, how it behaves, how it works out when mixing a song, what it sounds like with and without, and maybe if I find the time, we'll also test it in the B Studio downstairs, which has way less acoustic treatment and where the effect of the software might be even bigger. But now, back to some business stuff and music making. Still working on this new song that still doesn't really have a name.